Hi, my name is Benjamin Nyland. I'm a SharePoint MVP working here at ShareGate, and I've been asked, Benjamin, how do I use search combined with target audience? Which means, how do I get search results to display only the right content to the right people based on their whatever audience or properties, whatever we decide, right? So obviously, one thing we should know is target audience and does not work with content search web part or search results web part. It'll work with web parts that do more of a query on your content, like the content query web part, of course, and data view web part. So we're going to have to forget about target audience or the feature target audience. And of course, I'm not a particular big fan of it because technically it doesn't apply any type of security there. It is very and only for showing the content. So if somebody is not assigned a target audience but is still receiving the hyperlink to the item, he'll still be able to open it. Whereas search really trims the results based on what you have access to. So if you don't have access to a result already, you won't see it, and that is already one way of targeting. But let's look at how I can do this. In short, if you can see my URL, I'm on a demo page, and right now I'm showing a news for marketing because my name is Benjamin Nyland. Now, if I open up a different browser, you'll see that I am logged in as, well, Angelina Jolie, why not? And I have a different sales, but it is the same page. So I've effectively targeted. Now what I want to show you is how did I get here? The first thing that you should know before you start working with the content search web part, or of course the search results web part, they're pretty much the same web parts, give or take. The first thing we need to go and look at is our central administration. And what we need to go and see there, as loaded for a few seconds. If I go to my service applications, under the user profile, you will see two things: your user profiles and your user properties. Now, of course, I am assuming that you've already connected to a third-party source. This could be Active Directory that you're synchronizing your properties from, because the way that it works is every user in SharePoint can have a profile. And a profile is basically a combination of all these properties that you set up here in Manage User Properties. Now this could be your account name, your department. Some of these properties are mapped to your Active Directory properties, or they can be mapped to a third party wherever you decided to connect the user profile sync service to. Of course, this can be just manual properties so that a user can go to his About Me, click on Edit Profile, and then, of course, the properties that is allowed to edit are just not mapped to anything. They're just properties that the user is allowed to edit. And what we want is to have a handsome fellow. What we want to do is we want to be able to use these properties, whether it's people's skills, whether it's projects, interests, whatever you wish. And we want to use these properties to target that information to the right people using search. So the first thing that we need to do is, of course, let's go back. We need to create the properties or manage the ones that we want. And what I've done, and for this example, I'm going to use department. Now department is already linked to the department property in Active Directory, so all I really have to do is manage Active Directory. The other thing that I can do, since I know I do not have any scheduled synchronization jobs that will override what I'm doing, I can go to Manage User Profiles. I can find, say, my profile, and click on Edit Profile, or you can go to your My Site, but we'll edit the profile and you'll see all of these properties. You'll see the ones that are mapped to another property, say the manager in Active Directory as well. But I have marketing here set up, and I have, believe, sales for Angelina Jolie, of course. So here, now that I know I have these properties, and if I'm missing some, I can definitely go and create a new property by going into the Manage User Properties and start creating as much as I want. Create a new property, create a new section for the profile for people to fill out, and just type in the type of value that you want people to store. And of course, this is going to be important because it's going to have to match the right format at the destination when your search is going to query for something, say a list of announcements, and you want to filter column B to a property value. The type of value that we're going to match is going to have to fit, of course, right? We're talking about filters here. So we want to make sure that it's indexed so that we can use search with it. And just play around with it and see what you want to allow, what you don't want to allow. In this case, I want to use department, right? And I've established that if I go to my About Me, I work in the department and the value is marketing. So I went back into I created a list of announcements. Now, of course, this is a the simplistic example possible. You have to take into account your scenario and what you want to do. Is this going to be for documents? Is it going to be complex announcements? It's going to be for pages? It doesn't matter, right? It's all about finding a column. So I've created a site column, and I did this because I need this to become a managed property, because search only works with managed properties, not with crawl properties or the columns you create. You have to make sure that a managed property is available for the data that you want to use for filtering, for displaying in the results, and so on. So I've created a site column called target. I mean, I know, I like imagination. I mean, it is what it is. And for that, I have two announcements, one for sales, one for marketing, and I targeted with the right words or departments. Now, of course, I could have used a managed metadata column and make sure the properties in my my profiles are going to use the same terms that the search is going to use in the list is going to use as a column. And I would probably recommend using managed metadata, because if you want to use multi-value properties, that means that this announcement is going to be for sales, for marketing, and for security departments. It's easier to do with a managed metadata column simply because they're independent terms, whereas if it's just a choice column with multiple choice, it's going to be one value with comma separated delimiters of values. So you're going to have to work a little bit extra hard to get what you need or what you want out of that. So in this case, it's just a single line of text column. I have sales, I have marketing, so that every time I create a new announcement, let's try it out. Demo for awesome ShareGate viewers. And we're going to say this is a target of marketing as well. Again, a simple example. I could have put some content in there, but now I have a new announcement. I have a new announcement, yes. So the next piece is to go into my homepage, or the page I was on to do my demo, actually, side pages, demo. And of course, you don't see the new announcement yet here. Why? Because my search has to go through and crawl the new content. Of course, you got to plan for that as well. Do you want to use continuous crawl so that content comes almost instantaneously? Do you want to change the schedule for a different content source where your content is going to live in? You have to plan adequately for that, for sure. So I'm going to edit the page and show you what I've done here. I've added a content search web part simply because I like it better than the search results. But the search results web part will do exactly the same thing. The only thing it really is missing is the property mapping afterwards. So I'm going to change the query, and as you can see now, I cheated a little bit. You can see that I went into my site, so manage property path has to contain this URL, and the content type has to be announcement. Now, I didn't know how to type this. I didn't know that 0x0104 star means announcement content type. I have weekends, I have barbecues, I'm a regular person, I don't memorize these things. So what I did is I started with the quick mode, and in the quick mode I specified items matching a content type, and then I went into the drop down and I said announcement. I mean, but it makes me look good, so I stay in advanced mode. As you can see, it retyped everything. Now if I want to check it out here, I want to see that the target column, which is my managed property, equals my marketing directly. Now this works. I can see that it's showing marketing, and great, it's showing marketing. But now if I switch to the other page, right, and I refresh, actually I didn't save this yet, but if I save the page, no matter what Angelina Jolie comes and sees, it's always going to be marketing, because that's what we're saying to do on the target, on the query. So that's not okay. What I need to do is I need to tell the content search web part in the query that the value of the managed property, which represents my column in this case. Now, you should check out my blog on crawl property versus managed property in the ShareGate site, because it is vital that you understand the difference of the two and how to work them, because otherwise you're not going anywhere in this case. So here I'm going to remove the static word marketing, and what I'm going to type is I want to go get the user that is visiting, and then you press period and you can type the name of the property. So if I type department and close it, that's the name of the property for the user profile, right? And I'll test the query. Of course, it's still going to say marketing, because right now I'm Benjamin. So I'm going to click on OK, right? Save the page, and then refresh as Angelina Jolie, and we should see sales. Awesome. Now, if I launch the crawl again and go back to my central administration, let's go here. Central administration. Let's go into service applications. I like to manage them manually here because I'm obviously doing a demo, but you'd want to do this on a schedule, of course. So here, my new, you didn't need to do a full crawl, really. Incremental crawl would be fine because it's just new content. And in a short amount of time, if I keep refreshing the page, I'll give it just a little second, I'm going to see 2 announcements on marketing. Now, of course, as I said, you need to make sure that your content is crawled as frequently as possible if you're going to use this for an intranet, or you just look at what your needs are. Now, if you want multi-values, if you want to learn more about this, there is an awesome article on TechNet, and I'll show you. Now, you have this in this blog where you're seeing this video from, or navigate to the ShareGate blog to see it, and you'll have the link. It's called Query Variables in SharePoint Server 2013, and you can see all of the variables and what they mean. That means in that search query, if I had typed site in these brackets, then it would represent the URL of the site where the query was issued from. Right? And I could get site collection properties. I can also get the site's property from the property bag. I can get same thing for pages, URL tokens to get values within the URL. I can go and get the user properties, and this is where I got it. It's at user.property, and you go and get it. And then at the end, it'll talk to you about the terms, talk to you about listed libraries, and other things like today plus or minus number of days. But what's fun is also some tricks about using spaces. So if you want to combine 2 properties together, say you want to take the user's name and the user's zip code, but with a semicolon here in the middle, this is how it will appear in how search results is going to interpret this. Right? Same thing with query variables with multiple values. Now, if you use this special character, which is the bracket and the pipeline, the name of your managed property, and then the query, like we just did, user dot, and you have an example here. Go get the enterprise keywords and get the user's interest, but the user has multiple interests. And automatically, what the query is going to do is it's going to change to an OR operator. And you have to use OR operators if you want to use multiple values. There is no AND operators supported. All right, so this article is definitely going to be very helpful. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. We're going to refresh our page here. We should see both announcements. Awesome! And I hope you've enjoyed this. Otherwise, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.